What does a person live with? Lev Nikolaevich Tolstoy. Essay. Book title, What Does Man Live By? Original title, Chem Ljudi Jiva. Author of the book, Lev Nikolaevich Tolstoy. Country, Russia. Year, published, 1885. Number of pages, 110. Book type, story, movie, yes. Subjects, a story that discusses how one cannot be alone and that people should always be compassionate and loving towards each other. Place, Russia, time, 1885. Subject, one of the short stories in the book, What Man Lives With and Other Stories. It tells the role of values such as love, compassion, and faith in our lives. It seeks answers to man's existential questions. By using characters representing the devil and the angel in his stories, wants to tell that people can sooner or later pursue goodness. In his story, What Man Lives With, which gives its name to this work, Tolstoy tells that people are essentially good and that they should do good no matter what the situation is. The main story focuses on the life of Simon, a poor shoemaker. One day, Simon takes a stranger into his home. This stranger learns deep truths about people's lives. Heroes. Simon, a humble shoemaker who is very poor. Matryona, Simon's wife. Michael, an angel punished by God and became mortal. Main idea of the book. It tells us that people can survive with love, compassion, and kindness. Material wealth is temporary, but spiritual values are permanent. Theme of the novel: kindness and sacrifice. Impact on the period. It has had a profound impact on the literary world. It gives universal messages about human nature. Tolstoy's simple and impressive style makes the book readable. For this reason, it is an important part of the world classics. Analysis of the novel. The simplicity of the book is one of its strongest aspects. Tolstoy has presented complex philosophical concepts in a way that everyone can understand. The dialogues reflect the emotions of the characters in the best way possible, and you can empathize and feel the conversations as if they were real. Evaluation of the events and persons in the book. Simon is a helpful person despite his life difficulties. Michael appears as an angel. The author questions people's moral choices through these two characters. Simon's wife represents the importance of sacrifice in the story. Summary of the novel. A merchant named Simon lived with his family in a small town. Their situation was not very good. They had neither a house where they could live comfortably, nor a field that would bring them income. His only source of income was shoemaking. Everything was very expensive, it was hard to make ends meet, and the money he earned was almost non-existent. The shoemaker worked to make ends meet. The weather was very harsh in the winter. It was impossible to go out without wearing a fur coat, but they only had one fur coat, and he and his wife took turns wearing it. When the shoemaker wore his fur coat in the winter, his wife had nothing to wear, so she had to stay home. His fur coats were now completely worn out and unwearable. The shoemaker started saving money. He wanted to buy sheepskin to sew a new fur coat for his wife before winter came. The shoemaker worked hard and managed to save 3 rubles towards autumn. He also had 5 rubles and 20 kopecks to pay from the villagers. His wife was very happy to have a new fur coat. She thought she would no longer be cold in winter and would be able to go out whenever she wanted. The shoemaker was going to go to the neighboring village and buy furs for the fur. But in order to make up the money, he had to collect the money from the villagers first. But the people in the village told Simon that they had no money. Simon was very upset. He went to a tavern with the 20 kopecks given by one of his creditors, thinking he'd drink this money, and bought wine. While leaving the tavern, while passing in front of the church, he saw a naked man. First he shouted that they had killed him. He realized that it was a naked man leaning against the wall of the church, standing motionless, whether he was alive or dead. He said, "I shouldn't come near so that I don't have to deal with it." While he was thinking about whether he should go to him, or if he should leave immediately, it could be dangerous. His conscience ached, and he stopped and thought about the man's possibility of dying and how bad that would be. He ran to the man. He put on his own coat and the boots he had bought for repairs and said, "If you are not strong enough, take my staff. You can bear it." Then he took the man to his house. Simon's wife gave him an old shirt and a pair of trousers she had patched up. At first, the man's wife did not like him very much, but then she him. For the first time since he had arrived, the man smiled. Simon was very surprised. When Simon's wife Matryona asked him who had taken his things, he replied, "God has punished me." Matryona asks Simeon, "We give what we have to people. Why doesn't anyone give anything to us?" Simeon doesn't know what to say and says, "Let's go to sleep now." She dismisses her wife. Simon comes to the man when they wake up in the morning. He says, "My friend, the stomach wants food and the body wants clothes. We need to feed our stomachs." He asks if there is any job you know. The young man says, "I don't know any job." Simon is surprised and says, "If a person wants, he can learn anything." He says, "People work, so I will work too." The man started working in the shoemaker's shop with Simon. The man's name was Michael. Michael understood everything he was shown. After 3 days, he worked flawlessly as if he had been sewing boots all his life. He worked non-stop. He ate little, and when he finished, he sat quietly in a corner. A year passes. Everyone talks about Simeon's assistant. He makes such good boots that his fame spreads everywhere. It is said that no one can make boots as good and durable as him. People come from the surrounding villages to have their boots made by Simeon, and Simeon's income increases. One day, a rich man came to their shop. He wanted to have shoes made. Michael looked at the man and smiled a second time. The rich man asked for a quality leather to be brought and for the boots to remain in shape and without any stitching for a year. "If you say you can't do it, tell me," he said. "If it loses shape and stitching before a year, I will have you thrown into prison." Michael was a very hard worker and had already surpassed his master. However, he made slippers for this man, instead of shoes. During this process, Simeon's wife saw Michael and trusted him, and did not want to interfere with his work. When Simon saw this, he was very angry with his apprentice. Later, the rich man's assistant came and said that the man had died and that slippers should be made instead of shoes. Simon and his wife were shocked by this. Another day, a woman with twin daughters came to Simon's house. One of the girls was lame. When Michael saw this, he smiled for the third time. He wanted to have shoes made for his daughters. Matryona, who had never taken part in the conversation before, became curious. She wanted to know who this woman was and the children's parents. The woman told Simon's wife that these girls were not her biological daughters. She said that she had adopted them. Matryona was very surprised that he was so interested in these children who were not even her relatives. "How could I not love them?" the woman asked. "I raised them with my own milk." His curiosity increased even more. The woman tells how 6 years ago these children were left without both mother and father within a week. She tells that the mother of her children died after giving birth, and one of the children fell on her and crushed her, leaving one of her legs lame. She tells that their father was crushed by a tree falling on him 3 days before birth. She tells that neither their mother nor their father had a single relative to look after them. She tells that she started to look after them along with her own 8-week-old son. She says that she breastfed the healthy one once, and the disabled. One did not see any hope and did not see the need to breastfeed. Then she thinks to herself and says that if he is still alive, God must know something, and she takes pity on him and breastfeeds him. Simeon came to Michael and said that this was the first time he had seen him like this. He could not take his eyes off the girls and asked what was wrong with him. Michael stood up, took off his apron, and greeted Simeon and his wife. He asked their forgiveness and said, "God has forgiven me, so forgive me too." At that moment, light began to emanate from Michael, and when the woman left, Michael suddenly transformed into an angel. Simon and his wife were shocked. Michael said that he was actually an angel, and that he was being punished for disobeying God. Simon asked why God was punishing him. He said that he was punished for disobeying God's command while he was an angel in heaven. He said that God sent him to take the life of a woman and that this woman, who had newborn twins and was lying sick, did not even have the strength to breastfeed, and her husband had just died. And when she saw him, she understood that she had to surrender her soul, and upon her begging, she did what the mother said. She tells that she put one baby next to her breast to breastfeed, and the other in her arms, and then ascended to the sky to God. They learned that God was punished to take the woman's soul from her, and to learn 3 truths. She said that God sent her to the world to see the truth and to find answers to some questions. And now she had found the answers to those questions. What is in the heart of man? What is not given to man? What does man live on? When he learned these 3 truths, he rose to heaven again. When Simon's wife treated him kindly, he understood love. When the rich man came to the shop, he saw his friend the angel of death next to him and smiled, and when he saw the twins, he understood that man cannot live alone. After these, he said he had to go and disappeared. Personal opinions about the book. Spiritual values are at the center of life. Tolstoy conveys this message with impressive language. Quotes from the book, What Does Man Live? I thought to myself, a man prepares for a year, yet he does not know that he will die before the sun sets. Ask your heart, is it possible to live like this? If you hear a bad word from someone, keep quiet. Do not let that person's own conscience be at ease. Now I understand that evil increases with evil, and the more people pursue evil, the more they increase it. So evil does not disappear with evil. So, what does it do? He understood that purification of the heart occurs when you stop working for yourself, and that it is then possible to cleanse the hearts. The most important thing for a person to do is to do good to the person who is with them at that moment, because this is the purpose for which a person was sent to the earth. Information. Date of birth: Lev Nikolaevich Tolstoy, September 9th, 1829. Yasnaya Polyana, Russian Empire. Date and place of death: November 20th, 1910. Age 82. Ostapovo, Russian Empire. Local name: Lev Tolstoy. Occupation: soldier, philosopher, writer, pacifist, educational reformer. Nationality: Russian. Period: 1852-1910. Author's literary movement: realism. His major works published in Turkish: A Pathetic Adventure, Adami Equality, Ana Karenina, Haji Murat, Childhood, Youth, Childhood and Youth Years, Family Happiness, Cossacks, Sevastopol, 1855. War and Peace, Anna Karenina, The Death of Ivan Ilyich, Kreutzer Sonata, Serge Baba, Resurrection. Don't forget to like, subscribe to my channel, and turn on notifications for more of my videos. Thank you.